Good evening and welcome to Reclaiming My Life podcast. I'm your co host for tonight, Dr. Tiffany Tyson. Here at Reclaiming My Life, we like to inspire and motivate you to reclaim your life. Want to give a shout out to all the fathers from the recent weekend. Happy Father's Day to you. Thank you for all that you do of supporting your family and your children. Also, happy Juneteenth as well. Tonight, I want to talk about positive mindset. So, June is not only Father's Day month, but also Men's Health Month. And so, I want to talk about having a positive mindset for your healthcare journey. Often I see women or men, women actually, that come into the clinic, whether it's on the primary care side or the behavioral health side. A lot of them say, I just can't get my husband to come to the doctor's office. Some of them say, well, they don't want to come because they always say that they're busy. They are already working out, they're eating healthy. So why do they need to go to the doctor? Now, men have their cars regularly maintained for oil maintenance about every 3,000 miles, or usually in your car, there's a manual that says, follow the instructions. And I know we don't come with a manual as humans. However, it's important for you as men to get your health screenings done as well. Why? Because we want to have early detection for any type of heart disease, cancer, or any type of injuries. So, I want to talk about 5 tips on your healthcare journey. One is taking time for self-care. Self-care, yes. So, that's not a woman's term. It's also used for men as well. It's not just going to the spa, but it's taking time out to get that extra hour in of sleep, working on the hobbies that you like to do, whether it's fishing or bowling, spending time with your friends. These are some of the self-care things that you can do. Talking about sleep, sleep is very important. So making sure you have enough, because when you have decreased sleep, it increases your risk for heart disease and diabetes. Knowing what those numbers are, getting that annual check-in with your physician or your primary care provider, knowing what your blood pressure numbers are, your cholesterol number, your BMI, your height and weight circumferences. Also, knowing what your PSA level is. Now, men, PSA. So, monitoring that around the age of 50. However, if you have a family risk of prostate cancer, especially with your first line, if you have a brother or father with prostate cancer, it's important to get in earlier, maybe around the age of 40 or even earlier, 35, if you have a family history. Also, that colonoscopy, yes, that dreaded colonoscopy around the age of 50. However, if you have a family member, again, a dad or brother that's had a risk of colon cancer, you want to get in earlier around 40. So it's important to know what those numbers are so you can identify what things you need to do to reduce your risk of heart disease or diabetes or high cholesterol or even prostate or colon cancer. So getting in and knowing what those numbers are. And always make sure that you take time out of your day to get that extra help. So I want to bring in my ladies because I want to know, what do you guys, how do you approach that conversation with your spouses about getting into the doctor for that annual visit? Let's bring in Coach Claudia.
Good evening.
Hello, sis. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful this evening. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. You look beautiful.
Well, thank you, darling. So do you.
You're welcome and thank you. Wow. This topic tonight, we don't talk about the men enough and their
No.
health. So thank you for this, Dr. Tyson. But I want to say, listening to you, I really, what came to my mind is thinking back, you know, way back when you would hear talk of men. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
don't need to go to the doctor. I'm good. But
Yeah.
we're living in a world today where we're seeing death around us every day, every
Yes.
day. So more than ever now, for me, for the men in my life and the men that I know, I'm actually witnessing them going to the doctor. What I see, men are not playing about their health anymore. They're
Wonderful.
like, hey, yes, let me get checked out. They got their colonoscopy appointment set. They're making sure their blood pressure, if it's high, I'm taking my medication. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like they realize, hey, it's a time to be serious about your health because people are leaving here, you
Yeah.
know. So I do want to applaud the men in my life because, it just really came across my mind several men, relatives, lifestyle changes. Oh, I changed my eating habits. I had to get some of this weight off me. I'm trying to live. Again, I have my, colonoscopy appointment scheduled. Of course, like you said, prostate cancer, you
Mhm.
know. Well, I know, that a close relative of mine passed. So, I'm gonna make sure that I'm getting checked out. So again, I applaud the men,
Yes.
because
That's
we
awesome.
realize that life is short, and we need to do, not just women, men as well. We all need to do what we can do to save our lives.
Yes. And I think the pandemic really was a wake up call for a lot of people. There were a lot of deaths, and people said, okay, we got to take our health seriously. And so,
Hmm.
not only with our mental health, but our physical health. So, I agree. You notice more men were coming in to be seen, where in the
Hmm.
past they were like, I'm good, don't worry about me.
Right.
You go do your thing. I'm good.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
they woke up, they recognized again, hey, we need to check in. We need to start going to these appointments because life is short, and I want to be around to see my grandchild graduate from high school. I want to be
Yes.
around to see my daughter get married, and so health is important.
Yes, it is.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I want to bring in Minister Cooper. So tell me about, how do you have that conversation with your spouse or with the men in your life about getting their health screenings and going to the doctor?
So when I think about positive mindset, I think of self-focus, like you said. Men should, sometimes focus on themselves, which involves things like positive self-esteem, self-love, and self-confidence. It's about paying attention to their positive qualities as well as their strengths. Our men are, they're strong, they're the bold ones, but sometimes on the inside, they need to go, like you said, and find out what's going on. It may even be mental health, that they need to go and find out what's going on. But that positive mindset. Colossians 3 verse 2 lets us know that God expects us to take responsibility for our thoughts by thinking about our union with Christ. And we have to be positive in everything that we think, especially when it comes to Christ.
Oh, I love that verse. Yes. We got to have that positive mindset. That verse hit home. And
Yes.
like you said, mental health, because again, it's not just about physical health, because your overall well-being, there's 8 different elements, not only physical, but environmental, the social, occupational, even intellectual. So, you learn something new every day. So we have to be doing something to help stimulate our minds, whether it's reading or taking a class, or because again, you want to keep that mind sharp as well. And so when you're reading and learning new things, you're able to keep your mind sharp. So yes, those are important keynotes.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back to Coach Claudia. So as we're wrapping up here tonight about men's health, what's one of your takeaways that you want if there are men listening tonight?
Yes, one of my takeaways, of course, would be, like you stated earlier, if you know that you have a family member, a brother or a father that has had prostate cancer, please be more serious about your health. Go get checked because, of course, I know Dr. Tyson mentioned that because, sometimes I don't know what the percentage is, Dr. Tyson. If you know, one in, you know, you may actually, it may run down in the family line is what I'm trying to say. So, definitely be serious about your health. Also, my takeaway is, the positive mindset is just
Uh-huh.
live your life every day,
Uh-huh.
with the mindset of I want to be healthy. Live it
Uh-huh.
saying I want to live.
All right. Minister Cooper, what's some of your takeaways?
So my takeaway would be positive thinking, is one of the keys to success because it keeps you, motivated, and it changes your attitude towards problems that you may have in your life. So whenever you're sick in the body, it takes away from all of that. It takes away from that positive mindset.
Yes. So I just want to close in saying that yes, more than 1 million men are diagnosed each year with prostate cancer. And like you said, 1 in 5 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer. So it's important, one, just knowing about your family history, having that conversation. Oftentimes, sometimes we as people of color, we don't sit down and have those conversations. We're like, I don't want you knowing my business, but it's important to sit down and have those family conversations. Do we have mental illness in the family? Do we have diabetes in the family? Do we have colon cancer in the family? Do we have prostate cancer? They always say the more you know, the further you go, because if you
Right.
don't know, you're like, well, I don't know if we have that family history, so why do I need to go get checked? But if you have that dialogue, you're like, wow, okay, I need to get in early. I need to get in before age of 50. I need to be getting in at age 40 if I know that we have a history of colon cancer, if we have a history of breast cancer in the family. Men also can have breast cancer as well. So it's not just a woman's disease, but it's a man's disease. So in the end, knowing what your numbers are, having that positive mindset about your healthcare journey is important to make sure you stay happy, healthy, and that you're around for your most important things in life, where it's getting older, or again watching that child get married, or your first grandchild being born. So thank you guys for tuning in on today's episode of Positive Mindset, the Healthcare Journey in Men's Health. And as again, we hope that you were encouraged and inspired, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Reclaiming My Life.